You're about to open a window into the life of a ghost hunter. We'll show you dark, creepy roads that fade into the night. We'll show you haunted places, but most importantly, we'll show you what happens along the way there.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeff with Virginia Paranormal Investigations, and here we are down at the Wine Festival in Yorktown, and we have these shirts that we thought were appropriate for such an event. It says I'm here for the booze, B-O-O-S, as in ghost booze, of course, but they're having different wine tastings and samplings and stuff like that. Different wineries are here, which is pretty cool, but we're here promoting the Yorktown Ghost Walks. We're here, we have some copies of The Ghost of Yorktown, a haunted tour guide for sale, so people can stop by and pick that up. And we're also selling tickets for our tours tonight, which one of them is already half full, so definitely looking forward to the events here today in Yorktown. So we got our candy dish set out here, but we forgot candy, so we decided to put a tricorn hat on them, and when you make a noise,
that family tree is not quite as evil as mine.
that's pretty cool. Now I gotta say I'm quite fond of this tree, this haunted tree, because I like haunted trees.
Yeah.
You know, I like the thought of going in these dark roads that go into the woods and the trees. You see eyes in the trees and stuff like that.
Right.
Not necessarily, don't really see ones like that, but it would be cool if you did. But this was a tree that we got a while back at Spirit Halloween. We were set up for an event down there, and I saw that tree and I had to get it. I got the employee discount, and I was like, this is my Halloween decoration. And it's had a special place in my heart ever since then, because I never buy anything.
And it sits out on top of this, like, wall cabinet that we have. I mean, it's a normal fixture in our decor in the living room. It's always out. We always get to look at it. So it's kind of cool because, it fits along with everything else.
It does, but we only seem to break it out around Halloween.
I know.
And it is an attention grabber. If it's on and people
is.
come by and it comes to life.
Unfortunately, it's not very loud. If it was a little louder, it might grab people's attention better.
But the batteries have been in it for about 3 years,
That's
maybe?
true. The batteries may be low.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
have to
right.
pop some new ones in there.
All right, so we got some Pop's kettle corn.
Yes.
And we had that last time with some good stuff.
We did. Very, very good. I love kettle corn. Of course, I like any popcorn. I'm kind of a connoisseur of popcorn. But this is particularly good popcorn. They're always set up at these events. And I believe it's a little bit expensive for popcorn, but it could be worse. It could be far worse.
Not incredibly bad, because it was $6 even for the popcorn
and the 2 waters.
For 2 waters.
Yeah, not bad.
Right.
Not bad.
Because we left without a water bottle.
Right, which we usually never do, but this time we did. So we had to get the water, but this is just going to kind of tie us over until we have some like barbecue or something, significant for lunch.
barbecue restaurant, huh?
Yes, absolutely. Now, just as a side note, I did the graphics. I did the design for the vehicle wrap that they have a couple of years ago. But supposedly they have really good food. I haven't tried their barbecue yet, but have tried a couple of other various things. One of them was like some kind of like hush puppies or something at the last event when they were trying to get rid of their food. They kind of passed it out.
Oh yeah, I remember that. They were like pork rinds.
Pork rinds, that's what it was. Yeah, they were amazing. They were really good. And I've been wanting to try it for a long time. And they're up, I believe, on Warwick Boulevard in Newport News. If you want to get out there and try them, they do have a physical location you can go to. And I've heard it's well worth it. So we're going to check it out and see if we might have to go down there sometime and check out some of their other food.
That's interesting. It's a non-smoking event, but right up there it says smoke.
We got smoke.
Take a look at the menu over here. We got the pork sandwich, the brisket sandwich. Ooh, and there's the pork rinds.
Yeah, but they're out of them.
Oh no! I think I'm definitely going for one of the top things though. I don't know.
Yeah.
So taking a look at that barbecue basket there, you already took a bite out of that sandwich.
It's extremely good. They didn't have any names like on the sauce bottles that they had sitting out, so we couldn't tell what was what. But I tend to like the thicker, kind of deeper colored barbecue sauces. So I went for that one, and I made the right choice. And I really, really like it. The meat has really good flavor to it, and then when you add the sauce on top of it, it's just perfect. And the fries are really good. They're like fresh. They've got just the right amount of salt, and I don't even need ketchup for them. They're really crispy and yummy, perfectly cooked. We're actually doing pretty good today. We've had a lot of interest in the ghost tours and people taking the table cards. If they're not interested in a tour tonight, they say they're going to come back another time when they don't already have plans. So I think it's been a good turnout.
So it was interesting a little bit earlier on, this guy that stopped by the booth, and he says, we see him all the time.
Yes, that was weird, yeah. So this guy shows up and he says, I'm a little inebriated. He says, but just a little bit. Of course, it's a wine festival, so that's pretty much to be expected. But then he says, I see you guys all the time. And we said, oh, you do? And he says something about, guess who I am?
Yeah.
So we stood there and started guessing.
He said, oh, you don't recognize me?
Yeah.
And
we're like, no. I mean, I'm pretty good at recognizing faces. I did not recognize this guy at all. I don't know who the hell he was.
No, I said.
I have no idea.
What I asked him, I said, what are you? Are you a cop?
Yeah.
And he said no. And Linda said, are you a ghost? And he was quick to answer that question.
Yeah, he said no.
I said no. Maybe he was a ghost though.
It could be. I don't know who he was.
Right.
I almost asked him if he was one of those punk kids that rides up and down Main Street in his little like rice burner cars, the little cars that
yells things out the window.
Yeah, I hate those guys. And I almost asked him if he was one of them so I could clobber him. But
he could have been.
Yeah. I don't know
and we said like, are you here during the night? Because that's when we're usually here.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes daytime, sometimes night. And
ghosts are here sometimes during the day and sometimes during the night.
Yeah, and I asked him if he lives up on Main Street because there actually are a couple of privately owned houses up and down Main Street. And I thought, well, maybe he sits in his window and watches people walk past and sees us or something. But he said, no, he doesn't live up there either. So we don't know who this guy was. Have no idea.
Yeah, a little odd, definitely.
Yeah, definitely an odd experience.
So we packed up at the wine festival and drove back home. Had enough time to drop Linda off and change shirts real quick to the Yorktown Ghost Walks shirt. And now I'm heading back down to Yorktown, where I got 2 tours to give tonight, a 7:30 tour and a 9:30 tour. And then after the tours, I'm going to be heading back to Poquoson, where we're going to prepare for an investigation at the Poquoson Museum. And we're going to be joined by some of the folks from Wavy 10 that are going to be filming the investigation and interviewing us along the way. So it should make for an interesting night, and we'll definitely keep you posted along the way. I don't know, do we?
I don't know.
So we're up here at the Poquoson Museum, and just got finished up with those ghost walks 3 hours later. And we're here talking with David about Monster Fest. So David,
Oh man.
what
Dude.
happened down there?
Dude, what happened? Dude, I have a story for you guys. So there was a whole bunch of like interesting characters there. It was overall pretty fun. My ear was talked off for about 40 or 50 minutes by one dude. I had another person that talked to me for probably 20 minutes, and I thought they were wearing a costume. They weren't wearing a costume. It was pretty interesting.
They weren't wearing a costume?
They were
No,
not
it was
wearing
a
a
cross
costume.
dresser.
It was a person that
I was going to ask for some
cross-dressing.
elaboration on
I
that.
thought it was
yeah.
a female,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
wasn't a
Yeah.
female.
For those of you that don't know, David was down at Monster Fest at the
Yeah.
Chesapeake Library at the same time we were at the wine festival.
Mm-hmm. And you guys definitely owe me one for that. Like, that 20 minutes was, I don't know. That was just, I don't know, made me uncomfortable a little bit.
I will tell you this, on the bright side, drunk people are easy to sell books to.
Really? I bet they are.
Oh yeah. They come through with all kinds of ghost stories, and they saw things in every picture we put out too. Some of the pictures that didn't even have ghosts in them.
Oh, man.
So you said you might have got some potential cases down there at the...
Yeah.
So I can get some light on it. There we go.
I got one that I'm pretty confident I got one. She was telling me about the location that she lives in now. A whole bunch of weird stories. One that stuck out was she has like a studio in her house that a member in her family made for, I think it's in like the attic or one of the upstairs rooms. And one night she heard like a door slamming, but the door didn't open. Like, it wasn't open, it just slammed. And a lot of stuff like started like falling. Like it you couldn't attribute it to, you know, like a draft.
Right.
And almost like something was going and knocking it down.
Yeah.
She said this was also the creepy thing that I was going to tell you a while back. She heard, I don't know if it's at this location or a previous location, but she heard when she was trying to fall asleep, she'd hear children like the ABCs trying to sing like the alphabet coming from her closet.
Oh, wow.
She said that,
Oh,
and when she
man.
went to the closet, it would
jeez.
stop.
That's a twist right
Yes.
there. Like, usually kids have ghosts in their closet. This lady has
Right.
kids in her closet.
Right. That
God.
sounds kind of bad.
Kid ghosts. Kid ghosts. They're spirits, I'm sure.
That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Like, that would be awful creepy.
Right.
There's something creepy about kid ghosts.
Yeah, they really
You know what I
is.
mean?
There's
Like, it's
another
really-
level to it.
There is. It's a
Especially
whole
one
nother
singing
level.
A, B,
Nope.
C,
Yeah, I'm not messing
out
with
of your
that.
No,
closet?
I'm not
Screw
messing
that.
with that.
I got a
would not
kickstart.
live in that house anymore.
No, I'd leave.
Jeez. Well, that makes sense because, you know, kids often slam doors,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and cause commotion. So, I mean, it would make sense that maybe that's what is upstairs in the house as
Yeah.
well. You know,
Mhm.
she's got some kids, you know, and they
Yeah.
probably knew singing ABCs in the closet would freak her out. So,
Yeah,
That's right.
And she said that this is what made me like fully realize that she was a sane individual, because a lot of people, you know, they tend to like exaggerate
oh yeah, or
things.
they'll make stuff up. Yeah.
Because she mentioned that there was a school nearby. So she was trying to say, well, you know, because I think she said that that it happened in the daytime too.
Oh wow.
I might be mixing up the time of day, but you know, it happened. They were singing from her closet. Still creepy
Oh,
nonetheless. But she,
That's some creepy stuff.
yeah, and she said, you know, kids, the school wasn't close enough so
Yeah.
that she could hear it playing like that.
Oh, okay.
And every time she'd get up and go near that closet, it would stop.
Oh, man.
And
man.
that's giving me goosebumps again.
Yeah, that's
and that,
scary.
That is some creepy stuff.
I'm just doing some bass lines. Right now I'm recording what the weather's like in Poquoson. You know, the temperatures outside, precipitation percentage.
Is it like 250% humidity or what?
Dude, it's pretty bad.
Because I'll tell you, I walked out there and it was like walking into a swamp. Like the air was like a swamp.
Dude, it's pretty bad. Like I thought it was like a sauna out there. Like it's kind of bad.
How about that mosquito that I tried to kill that still
dude.
lived?
Oh yeah. How about those 2 spiders right there? Look at that. This thing's creeping in from outside. They got some mutant insects in Poquoson.
Yeah. Pretty good. So, this is the front door right here. And at night after hours, they hear somebody trying to come in this door every once in a while, jiggling the doorknob. And there's obviously no one on the porch, and you can see right through the window. So they can see if anybody was out there. And this is something that the former residents that lived here before it was a museum also witnessed. And this is the old storeroom. That kind of looks like a Coca-Cola ice box. And one of the former residents, she was staying in this room because it was too cold upstairs, so she would sleep downstairs when she visited her grandmother. And she said she heard somebody trying to come in the front door, banging on the windows, looked out, no one was out there. And she was a little startled, of course, because someone was trying to come in the front door. She didn't know who it was. It was a late hour of the night. So she called her grandparents that lived across the way. And they said, there's nobody on your front porch right now. Yet the doorknob was turning like somebody was trying to get in.
I was just telling them that with museums, museums are always interesting because there's so much here that a spirit could be attached to. You never know quite what it is or who it is that's inhabiting a museum.
Absolutely.
So that's part of the reason why we really like this place. There's so many things that a spirit could be attached to because of all of the war memorabilia, the military memorabilia that's in here. So interesting places always.
Right.
So what we've done is because we have the majority of our evidence from prior investigations coming right out of the front of the house here, we've concentrated all of our equipment there. We have an action camera in the, what I call the military memorabilia room over here, but it's pointing down the hallway so that it can get a shot down there. You can see down on the floor there in front of the case that holds the nurses' dresses. So we have that one there. We also have another one of those that's in what they call the storeroom, a room up front that's set up like an old store. We have the laser grid in that room as well that's pointing in the same direction, along with the IR light. So it's kind of a combination of things in here. You can see the IR light up on the window there, the laser grid here. So that's going to be monitoring this area in particular. There's a lot of activity right here. Then I've also set up the fidget spinner in what they call the boat room, which is also here at the front of the house. And I've set it on the piece of paper that we had traced the fidget spinner on. And just to see if something might actually move the fidget spinner at some point. You can see it sitting here on this little piece of paper. There's the outline there, and I've got it pretty well lined up with the outline. So if anything hits that or bumps it, we'll know.
Also worth noting, where David just came down, we have a trail cam set up on the stairs here. So this is where we had some interesting results with it last time. So once again, it's on the stairs facing the door.
There was honestly nothing, peculiar about anything. The temperatures are pretty consistent, like 71, 72, like all over the museum. And you said like the baseline EMFs, they were all low, except for this area right here. You said like the sun about 6 to 8 inches from the sun. There was one in the boat room until the left of the fuse box. And then you also said the front because of the alarm and something with the lights. But that's about it. The humidity of this, it kind of ranged a little bit. It was like 58 on the low end to 64 on the high end. But there was honestly nothing really peculiar about anything. But I did make special note of the animals this time, because I honestly did not include the waterfowl on one of the last times. But like you said before the investigation, those types of animals, they can make weird noises. And I honestly didn't know there were like coyotes in this area. So I definitely put that down this time. But nothing like unusual in the baseline sweep. So if we get anything, during the course of the investigation, it's probably something paranormal.
So we're here in the storeroom, and I'm Jeff,
I'm David.
and that's Linda with the spirit box there. And we don't mean to impose by any means, but we heard there was someone that kind of lingers up here, and we want to know who you are and if there's anything you want to let us know. Could you please tell us the name of the person that hangs out in this area?
I see you with your, and then it trailed off.
We heard that often at night. Someone's trying to come in the front door. Can you tell us why they're trying to come in the front door?
I think it said a cuss word.
Is there something in this room you're attached to? There are reports of messing with the checkerboard, right?
Right.
Checkerboard?
Right.
Or why is this your favorite room, it appears, in the house? Maybe it reminds you of something when you were alive?
The window?
Can you move one of those checkers for us now? To let us know that you're here? What if I were to move one? Would you take the next move?
How many of you are present in the house? Is it just one, like we think? Or is it multiple? Do you not want us to be
I'm
here?
one.
I'm one.
I'm one.
It could be an answer to
That
that
could
question.
be an answer, yeah,
Yeah.
that could have been. Are you saying that you're the only one? Like it's only one being here? Or you're one of many? You don't like all this noise? We're disturbing you?
So we've moved out here to the front door. Can you turn that doorknob for us?
I saw something too. You know how she said that it said no talking?
Mm-hmm.
Like I was thinking in there, since we've started doing like more things here, like in this like past month, and like in this month, like more things, I'm wondering if like it's getting irritated, like that's something, like we're irritating something.
Like it doesn't want to
that-
talk
Yeah,
anymore?
exactly. That there's so much, like, I mean, there's probably more people now, than like a lot of times, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and we're here like almost like every weekend, so it's almost like, like leave me alone,
Yeah, like doesn't
like
want
don't
to
talk,
talk anymore.
like, yeah, it's saying like don't talk. It could be saying like leave me alone, or I don't want to talk.
Right, that could be.
Because I mean, they're like people, I mean, at one point, you just want to be left alone.
Can you tell us why you're trying to get into this door? Why do you want to come inside?
Is it trying to get inside or is it trying to get out? Or like, or do we know?
We don't know. I would
Yeah.
think it's trying to get in because it sounded like from the prior residents
Yeah.
that it was out there, like kind of banging on
Either
the
said
door or something like
seek
that. I forget
or
what the exact
seat.
wording was. But she thought there was someone on the front porch because I guess it was going.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Then trying to come in. Okay.
That's a good question, though. Can you tell us? Are you trying to get in or are you trying to get out?
It's also important to note that right after, like, why are you trying to come in? I think you said she said seek.
Right.
So that's something we could make note of. Said seek. So
Right.
are you looking for something? Like, are you attached to a particular item in this house? Or maybe you just want to, tell your story or convey a message.
I've got it.
You've got what? A message that you want to give us? Or give someone?
Let me ask you this. When the woman lived here before and someone was trying to get inside, are you the same person still trying to get in? Have you been trying to get into this door for a long time?
I'm sorry.
What are you sorry for?
Sounded like it said a soldier.
That's important to note right there. She's always talking about how, and there's a whole bunch of like military memorabilia like in this house.
There
know what I
is.
mean?
There
Yeah.
is.
And that picture all the time, she talks about, the last time we were here, she's talking about, there's something about that picture she's drawn to. And it's kind of interesting she said soldier. 'Cause, I mean, there's uniforms and stuff.
Right. I guess the only concern I would have is because with her looking in that direction, even if there was something
Yeah.
that sounded like soldier, it might already be on her mind.
Mm-hmm. The brain connected with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do y'all kind of determine what questions you want to ask or what you think it will answer to?
For me, like, I kind of just ask what pops into my head, like, honestly. I don't know, like, how they do it, but I just pop whatever pops in my head or something that's
Outside?
relevant. Like, I just ask it.
Outside. Hey, Mary. Mary. Are they back there? Did they leave?
No, I'm pretty sure they're back there.
Teresa.
Yes.
Can we open the front door?
Want me to open it?
Did she say yeah?
Did you say yeah? Oh, she didn't unlock it.
Oh.
I thought it was unlocked.
We
I'm
were
sorry.
wondering, I'm going to move this. We were wondering because we're asking about why something wants to come in and it said outside through the spirit box. So maybe we should,
Because he couldn't get inside.
maybe, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if maybe we should just step out on the
I think it said
porch.
evil.
Oh, man,
Maybe you shouldn't open the door in that case.
Maybe it's going after something.
yeah.
Yeah, let's leave it locked. Leave it.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it closed.
Yeah.
Because we ain't got none of that mess around here.
Do what?
We don't have none of that mess around.
Yeah, it said evil right
Did
when
it
we-
really?
Yeah.
It really actually said that?
Yeah.
Right when she went to open the door?
It said evil.
Oh, man.
Well, what we'll do is we'll go out the side door and kind of flank it.
So we are going out on the front porch because we figured that there's so much activity that's concentrated between the front porch and the front of the house that it actually may be worth going on the front porch to do a little investigation and see if we pick anything up there. With this previous resident did hear this sort of knocking and banging on the front windows all along the front of the house, all simultaneously, and heard the doorknob rattling as well. So something something comes into the house. They hear the door open, they hear it shut. So a lot of strange activity that's concentrated in the front. So figured it's worth a try. I'm glad they don't have any rocking chairs out here, because if they did, you'd be asleep.
Oh yeah, you already know. That's not gonna stop me from leaning up against that. Oh man.
Okay. So we're going back into a spirit box, or are we going to?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. We won't make it incredibly long, just to see if anything.
Yeah, just for a few minutes. Front porch.
So we're out here on the front porch, and we're wondering if you wanted us to come out here for a reason. Who's out here that's trying to get in the house?
You mentioned something with evil. What were you saying was evil? Were you talking about you or something else?
Is the evil inside of the house, or is it out here on the front porch?
He is or she is. I couldn't tell which.
You might have been right than what you said. Inside. About the, something about like the...
Trying to get back in?
Yeah, the wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trying to get back in, and the husband might have said that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm
That's
not
kind
joking.
of,
Yeah.
it kind of fits together a little bit,
Yeah, it
doesn't it?
does. Yeah, it definitely does make sense now.
Who locked you out here?
Briefly?
How would you feel if I said you're never going to be able to get in there? How would that make you feel? Like I said, you're never going to be able to get in there. You're always going to be stuck out here. How does that make you feel? Does that make you a little angry? Upset? Knowing that you can get that close and look through, you know, the glass, but you're never going to get in there.
So we're going to venture down this gravel path, and this is a long, narrow piece of property. It leads all the way back to a creek back here. We're not going to go quite as far as the creek, because the most interesting hot spot that's back here is actually just before we get to that creek. There's a little bit of a footbridge that goes over what I'd consider more of a ditch. And back there on the left-hand side is where this house used to stand. It caught fire, and there were supposedly two older men that were brothers that were living in the house at the time. And the two brothers had perished in the fire. And one of the local residents, the most interesting story is that she had been walking home from school one day, and she could see in the window as the house was burning down, there was an older man in a wheelchair sitting inside, and he didn't appear to be bothered by the fact that the house was burning down. he was just sort of sitting there and almost like he was just waiting to die. So kind of a weird, creepy story. I'm not sure why they would sit there like that and wouldn't try to get out of the house while it's burning, but who knows really what the situation is. So some interesting things back there, and because the smoke alarms and the motion alarms tend to go off all the time inside the main house up here, we think it's kind of an interesting point. Good experiences with the spirit box out here last time, didn't we?
All right, I'm Jeff.
I'm David.
This is Linda with the Spirit Box. And first we'd like to know, we came to this area of land. We'd like to know if you could tell us what happened here.
Was there one report that said they both died, correct?
Believe so.
And then there's
Not 100% on
there's
that.
like one though that they didn't try to get out,
I don't know about that one.
or if they physically couldn't.
I'm not sure.
Because I was trying to figure out a way to ask that question. Oh well,
That's
why,
one that you could ask, yeah.
Why didn't you leave the house? Were you not physically able to leave, or was something holding you back other than that?
What was the name of the person that owned the house? Can you tell us who was inside the house when it burned down?
Do you sometimes venture up to the
Right
museum?
there.
Right there. What do you think that was?
I'm not sure.
Response to?
It didn't seem like we asked him.
Yeah, there's something moving over there.
What is it?
I have no idea what that was.
What kind of
I
animal,
thought it was like a coyote or something. That's why I turned around.
based on your research, what kind of animal in this area would make that kind of...
Well, based on my calculations, I would, have to say it's probably a coyote. Some kind, North American coyote.
One and the same.
Yeah, see, it's one and the same.
Maybe it's a mosquito. Pretty big around here. Can you tell us what that was making that noise in the woods?
Oh.
We got light coming. We got light coming.
Oh.
Is that a cop?
Huh? I don't know yet.
Do what?
I don't know
In
yet.
about a few minutes.
It's probably a
Should,
cop.
should we keep rolling? This might be interesting.
Yeah, keep rolling. Oh, man. Might get shot.
Boy, would I have a story to tell.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh, man. Do you sometimes go up to the museum? Or are you only confined out here? Hey, how you guys doing? It's the sheriff's office.
Taser, 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 taser! Stay on the ground! Stay on the ground! Stop resisting!
Welcome to the evidence review from our investigation at the Poquoson Museum, which was a very interesting investigation. We were joined by a crew from Wavy 10, and this is actually going to be put together. Clips from this investigation are going to be put together on their website, so you'll be able to check it out on there as well. So this is kind of a behind the scenes view. But we're going to turn it over to Linda, and she's going to talk about some of the possible responses that we got through our spirit box sessions.
So during the investigation, we used the spirit box a lot, where I had the headphones in, and David and Jeff were asking the questions. And we actually got a lot of responses that we thought related to the questions that were asked or to the place that we were investigating. And the first one here is one in which people had asked, how many of you are present? So we can listen to that one here.
How many of you are present in the house? Is it just one, like we think, or is it multiple? Do you not want us to be here? I'm one.
I'm one.
Could be an answer.
That could be an answer, yeah, that could have been.
So as you can see, the response that I heard coming through the spirit box was, I'm one, or I am one. I'm not exactly sure which. So could possibly relate in saying that, hey, I'm just one. I'm one person here. So we thought that was pretty interesting. Now, the second one that we have for you is one in which we were talking about going outside, and we had asked one of the docents, can you please open the front door, because there was a response through the spirit box that had said outside. So we thought that perhaps with the activity being on the porch the way that it was, we thought, let's go out on the front porch. But as soon as she had come up, there was a response through the spirit box that we thought was pretty interesting. Now, through the clip, you can see that we're actually talking through most of this, and you can hear what we say during the whole thing. So here we go.
I thought it was a lock.
We were wondering, I'm going to move this. We were wondering because we're asking about why something wants to come in and it's set outside through the spirit box. So maybe we should.
Because he couldn't get inside.
Maybe, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if maybe we should just step out.
I think it said evil.
Oh man,
Maybe you shouldn't open the door in that case.
Maybe it's going after some.
yeah.
Yeah, let's leave it locked. Leave it.
Yeah,
Let's leave it closed.
Yeah.
But we ain't got no of that that's right here.
Do what? So as you can see, when she went to open the door, it actually said evil through the spirit box. So we were kind of hesitant, of course, on opening the door. Now there's another response through the spirit box that we thought was interesting here, just a short time after this one that said evil. So let's listen to that.
Walk me to my car.
We'll leave.
Right there.
It said we'll leave. So again, something that actually could relate, we'll leave or we'll leave. We're not exactly sure which one it was, but we're still standing by the front door considering opening this door. So again, something else that relates. Now the next one is a question that was asked by one of the investigators, and then we get a response from that. So I'll let you listen to that as well.
Maybe we should open that door.
Yeah, I mean,
Invite something in.
No.
it did. It almost implied that something needed to leave or something like that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
As a male voice came in, it said, yeah. So Jeff and David are talking about the fact that this thing said evil, and they're trying to figure out, we'll leave, trying to figure out what this line of responses could mean. And Jeff theorizes, of course, that perhaps it's meaning that it's intending on leaving if we open the door. And a male voice came through and very clearly said, yeah. So perhaps that's a response to what Jeff was commenting on. Now, in addition to these clips, there were a couple of times when there was a response that came through, and we didn't clip it out. We weren't sure exactly that it related. One of them was just the fact that there's so much war and military memorabilia inside this museum. And it did come through and sounded like it said, I'm sorry, and then a moment later, a soldier. So it could be that related. I'm not exactly sure. It could be like Jeff had thought that perhaps I was looking at all of this war memorabilia, all of these things with soldiers on them, and, you know, that my mind was sort of predisposed to think of that word. Now, there were a couple of other things. One time it said lonely, and a moment later it said, I ain't going back. So we're not exactly sure what that might mean. But another time, y'all want too much. So whoever is speaking obviously has a southern accent. Those are things that are said in this area, the way that we speak in this area. So it's obviously somebody from this area. But these couple of responses were not exactly sure, like I say, what they mean or what they could relate to. So, but certainly interesting nonetheless.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, some interesting stuff that came from the Spirit Box sessions, and perhaps a few more instances that you saw in the video that were interesting. But how about the police chase at the end? Now I have to say this was a work of my editing abilities. The police chase never happened. The police did really come onto the scene because they saw us out there in the middle of nowhere, and I'm actually going to show you the video clip now of what actually happened when the police officer came. There was no tasing involved, there was no running involved. We just kind of thought it would be humorous afterwards to edit that in there.
Hey, how you guys doing? It's the Sheriff's Office.
How's it going?
You guys out filming for something, looks like?
Yeah.
I got you. Did y'all get permission to be out here after dark? Or the trespassing after dark?
Yes, sir.
Who did y'all talk to?
Well, the museum, the Poquoson Museum.
Okay. Did they give you any piece of paper or anything like that?
No, they're still in there though.
They're still up there?
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in there. We're doing a paranormal investigation.
Got it. Hope I didn't interrupt it.
Yeah. No, no.
All right, guys, I appreciate it.
All right, sir.
Should I ask that question again?
Yeah, might as well. I forgot what it was. I'm sure the ghost did.
To go to the museum.
Stay on the ground! Stay on the ground! Stop resisting!